दोस्तों गुड मॉर्निंग। मैं हूं मदन सिंह एंड मैं आपके साथ बात करने वाला हूं on a latest topic. It's a topic which is going to interest you a lot. We had this battle with Pakistan, that is Operation Sindur, which lasted 4 days. I'm going to give you a military analysis of this battle. I think the Indian General Staff was really not aware as to how to go about modern warfare. If they had the idea, they would not have launched the aircraft attacks on the first day of the battle. And what was the result? We lost 6 to 7 of them to the Pakistani missiles, mainly because the Pakistanis had already been warned that the Indians would be coming to attack. And who had done the warning? It was the Indian cabinet minister, one of them, who told the Pakistanis, well, we're going to attack your terrorist camps, but please don't retaliate because we are going to attack your army camps, so we'll have a status quo. I mean, it must have been someone very naive, who would say that Pakistan is going to accept such a situation. And once they got the warning, they were ready, and we lost, I think, 6 to 7 aircraft on the very first day of the battle. Now, this is the flaw in our thinking, military thinking. This is the era of rockets, missiles, and drones. I fail to understand why the Indian Army and the Air Force tried to use the aircraft for the very first day of the battle and lost 6 of them. It's not something to be proud of. Later on, of course, they recovered and then they decided that they'll use the missiles, and the missiles were used, and 9 Pakistani bases were hit. That's also a fact. But then the Indians had a mysterious ceasefire. I couldn't understand why should you have a ceasefire, and all the time the Indian press is going around and saying that India won the battle. Well, if you won the battle, there was no need to have a ceasefire after 4 days. Why should you have a ceasefire? What was the reason? What was the compulsion? Obviously, there was some other force acting. And Pakistan has come out and said that it was Donald Trump who brought about the ceasefire, and they recommended Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. But India was a little churlish. I think Narendra Modi himself lost his reasoning when he went around saying that Donald Trump has nothing to do with the ceasefire, and we had the ceasefire after Pakistan made the offer. Well, friends, as I told you, Pakistan made the offer. They have admitted it because of pressure from the Americans. And there was a lot of pressure in India also, there's no doubt about it. And now, as you all know, one of the State Department officials in America, who's of Indian origin, he has been given an award for bringing about the ceasefire during that critical period. And I have not yet understood what is the reason that Mr. Modi was not ready to acknowledge that America had a hand in the ceasefire. Assuming they did not have, if Pakistan says they had a ceasefire because of Donald Trump, that is enough. And net result is India's got a sorry figure. One thing, let's be very clear, Operation Sindhu has marked the downfall of the Indian military. It's very sad. Having spent so many times in the Air Force, I feel very sad when I have to make such a comment. Because after Operation Sindhu, Saudi Arabia, Oman, and so many countries, including Bahrain and Qatar, have signed a defense pact with Pakistan for their defense because they feel Pakistan done so well. They knocked down 6 to 7 Indian planes. Donald Trump says 8 planes were knocked down, and he says the planes were very good. Some of them were the Rafale, the 4.5 generation fighter, and Trump says the planes were very good. It's the pilots who were lacking. I'll not comment on that. I won't say anything. I think Trump may be wrong. The pilots are very good. What really happened was the Pakistanis had the warning earlier and they played hell into the Indian system. So, gentlemen, war is now changed. The old days when, 300 to 400 bombers used to go for bombing Germany, they're all over. It's not there because these bombers going will be shot down immediately, and maybe if 300 to 400 are going, or 200 will be shot down, the battle will be over for the persons who are attacking. Now you've got to have drone warfare. If you know, there was a fight between Azerbaijan and Armenia, and the Azerbaijanis used only drones and sophisticated weapons. The MiG-21 and 23 of the Armenian Air Force just couldn't do a damn thing, and they lost the battle. Now that's part of history. No soldiers fought, nothing. India should have done the same thing. I don't understand why the General Staff and the Air Chief should have insisted that no, we'll go ahead and use our aircraft for this, especially when Mr. Modi is saying that this is not the era of wars. Now, I have repeatedly been saying that the attack on Pakistan at that critical juncture, that is Operation Sindoor, was a great blunder. It has given breathing space to Pakistan. Pakistan's army is going around saying we have won the war, and the world is believing. Now that's the point. See, half the thing, gentlemen, is the perception of what you present to the world. And if the world feels Pakistan won, you can see the result. Pakistan has signed a deal of $4 billion with Argentina now to give aircraft. They're giving the J-10 fighter and the J-15 fighters, which Pakistan is making with Chinese collaboration, while India has not been able to make any plane at all, and nobody wants to buy the Indian Tejas Mark II. And the sad part is, it's all over by the shouting. Let's be very clear, gentlemen. Everything is not so easy. Goodbye. God bless and